I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, Ann, can you have a roll, please?
Schmuckel.
Here.
Gustinelli.
Here.
Corn.
Here.
Lapp.
Here.
McManus. Laney McManus.
Here.
Cumber.
Here.
And Joe McManus.
Here, thank you. All right, first item on our agenda is public comment. We have public comment at the beginning and at the end of each meeting, and then we also have a public hearing this evening. So you can get up at any time now or later to let us know what you have to say. I would encourage anybody who's here for the topic of the public hearing that possibly they wait till that time be more appropriate. But I will open up public comment at this time. And as often the case, nobody's running up, so we'll go ahead and close public comment and move on to the review and approval of the agenda. And if anybody has any conflicts of interest, now would be the time to state that.
I do.
Okay?
7A.
All right, Denise. Everybody okay with Denise abstaining from that? Okay. Anybody else? I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve the agenda with Denise abstaining from 7A.
I will second that motion.
Motion made and supported with Denise abstaining from 7A. Any further discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Consent calendar.
The purpose of the consent calendar is to expedite business by grouping non-controversial items together to be dealt with in one board motion without discussion. Any member of the board, staff, or the public may ask that any item on the consent calendar be removed therefrom and placed elsewhere on the agenda for full discussion. Such requests will be automatically respected. If any item is not removed from the consent calendar, the action noted in parentheses on the agenda is approved by a single board action adopting the consent calendar. Tonight you have minutes, June 24th, 2025, regular meeting, recommend approval, and bills from the general fund, $70,343.54, recommend approval.
Okay, thank you. Is there any item anybody on the board would like to have removed and placed elsewhere on the agenda? Anything that staff would like to have removed? Any item anybody from the public would like to have removed? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent calendar as presented.
Support.
Motion made and supported to accept the consent calendar as presented. Any further discussion on that? Ann, can we have a roll on that, please?
Corn.
Yes.
Schmuckel.
Yes.
Augustinelli.
Yes.
Lapp.
Yes.
McCumber.
Yes.
L. McManus.
Yes.
And J. McManus.
Yes, thank you. All right, I don't see anything under correspondence, so we'll move on to reports. And I don't think our county commissioner's here yet. She might make a late appearance, so we'll skip past her for now and move on to the sheriff.
Good evening, Roy Rasko with the Sheriff Department. June stats, citations that were written in Garfield Township were 87. There was 20 personal injury accidents, 62 property damage accidents, 10 OWI arrests were made in Garfield, 41 criminal arrests were made in the township. And then for the quarter, there were 346 citations written, 1 fatal accident, 37 personal injury accidents, 161 property damage accidents, 31 OWIs for the quarter, and then 186 criminal arrests were made in Garfield. Recently, I was able to purchase 2 bike racks, one strictly for the Garfield Township officers, and then one to share with Peninsula Township. The guys have been pretty active on the bikes, at least 2 of the depths. They've been up into the GT Commons. They've been on Miller Creek Trail, and then they've kind of got together with TCPD and worked a little bit of the TART Trail, the county stuff in Garfield Township, and then the city and any presence the Hall Park can have is great. So our guys have made the whole circle and have spent some time in Hall Park too, just to assist, keep moving people along. Hopefully in the next couple weeks, we'll get into Meadow Lane Trailer Park and just do some PR stuff on the bikes in Kings Court. Some of the bigger issues recently have been Goodwill Inn with a lot of disorderly type stuff, larceny stuff, drug and alcohol issues, and James and Deputy Veith have been trying to devote more time on the property there. Other things that are taking up the township guys' time are the fraud complaints and the scams, which include the Bitcoin stuff, Cash Apps, Craigslist. iTunes cards are still a problem. And then the last few days, the suicidals and the mental type health issues have kept all the Garfield Township cars running in all directions, trying to help out with that. All the township positions are currently filled, so there's no more vacancies. Mariah Ebenhart, I'd like to say, was promoted to Garfield Township, but she was picked for Garfield Township, so she'll be out here. She's a accident investigator, evidence tech, so it'll be good to have Mariah out here or in the township. And she's also has an interest in riding the bike, so we're really trying to get that visual effect out there. And so there's 4 deps that really want to ride the bikes, 1 dep that doesn't, so he'll be assigned to the speed signs for now. Questions?
Any questions for Ron? All right, thank you, Ryan.
Thank you, sir.
Metro Fire, Chief.
Good evening, Paul Mackin, Metro Fire. Should have before you the Garfield NFIRS incidents for June of 2025. It's kind of carries over to the second page because we had a larger number of some of those one-off call types. The majority of the calls are falling within the emergency medical category, within the top 3 categories here. In Garfield Township, we had 236 medical assisting EMS crews, either MMR ambulances or other ambulances. Some 62 emergency medical services. Other, we had about 57 dispatch and canceled route. Usually, typically, it's another agency or something that would handle that call. So we would be responding and then returning. You can see the overall metro numbers to the right of that column. The majority, again, vehicle accidents, 7, smoke detector activations, unintentional no fire, motor vehicle incidents with no injuries, we had 4, and then just a number of variety of calls there. If we look to the second page, totals for the township for the month of June were 417 incidents of the 585 total within Metro Fire. Moving on to the EMS complaints, for the month of June, we had, again, our top, say, dozen or so complaint types hold the majority of the calls for Garfield Township and for Metro. Falls still being our number 1, call type, and I'll talk about a new program that we have for that. Total incidents or emergency incidents for the month, 356 within the township, as opposed to the 490 within Metro as a whole. Move to the third page, or fourth page actually. Our incidents by station for June, our pie charts here. Station 12 had about 25% of the calls. Out of area, we had about 2% calls. Station 1 responded to 28% of the calls. Station 11, 29%. Station 8 coming in at 11, and Station 9 coming in at about 5%. The breakdown of the 585 by township, Garfield at 417, which represents 71% of the calls for the month. East Bay Township bringing in 103, 18%. Acme Township with 53 incidents, representing 9%. And then we had 2% of out of area responding, assisting other agencies. The bottom column, the stations versus the responses. If you look at the incident numbers for the station, some of them might be a call or two higher than they are represented in the first graph on this page. That's because we rolled in those out-of-area responses to those stations, the stations that actually responded. So that increased the incident number and responses for both of those, each of those columns there. So our Station 1, in terms of incidents, 166 incidents assigned to it, 192 responses. Station 8, 67 as opposed to 87 responses. Station 9, fairly even in terms of assigned, 29, 33 calls where they're responding. Station 11, difference of about 30 incidents there between the actual incidents for the station and responses. And then Station 12, again, about 20 incidents. The difference there in terms of the incidents assigned to that station and then responses that they made from that station, assisting some of our other stations. Moving on to just some of the things that we're working on. I reported on some of this last month, but recently we concluded our promotional testing to establish eligibility list for lieutenant and captain. The testing it was a good process. We had a lot of involvement. They did produce one candidate for each rank. One candidate made it for the lieutenant's list, one for the captain's list, which will be utilized in the event of an opening. It's just to have it in place in case there is an opening. We're not predicting any, but it's good to have that in place in case something happens. Those lists will be good for 2 years. The recruitment for our plans examiner, our inspector position is open now. It opened up this week, so that's going to be open until August 8th. At that point in time, we'll start going through the applicants and going through interviews and secondary interviews, et cetera, just to see if we can get that position filled prior to August 31st is when Kathy will be retiring. Hopefully we'll get somebody in either end of September, early October, so they can spend some time working with her and training. We did wind up submitting a application for SAFER grant. We did that on July 1st. That would be to fund three additional firefighters. The federal funding limits for that over the 3-year period would be 75% from the federal government, or it should not exceed 75% for the first 2 years, and then it drops down to about 45%. So we're planning on hearing something by, we'd like to hear something by first quarter next year, even though they are saying that they should be making announcements later this year. Sometimes those get pushed back. So that grant has been submitted. Our draft fiscal year 26 budget was presented to our full board, as I had mentioned last month, that we would be doing so. And it will be on the agenda for approval this month with our board. Assuming that it is approved, once it's approved, we'll be asking to present it to this board probably as early as August. So we'd be bringing it. And as usual, we'll come in and we'll do a presentation. Both myself and Kim would be presenting that to you for your consideration. Our fire life safety educator, Katie Barecki, is delivering a kind of new and improved updated fall prevention program. She incorporated it into kind of a game. It's called Balance Bingo. She's pretty excited about that. It's going to debut July 15th at the YMC West over on Silver Lake Road. It's going to be offered Tuesdays from 1 to 2:30. It's going to run through August 5th. So simply, it's going to be kind of putting an interactive spin on playing bingo and some simple balance exercises designed for older adults. And there's going to be some prizes and things like that. So pretty excited about kind of putting a new spin on it, and hopefully it takes off. Concurrently, she's also going to be offering that Wednesdays over in Acme Township at their town hall, and that'll be from 10:30 to 2. So I'll make sure that there's some flyers available here for the township as well. A couple other incidents of significance. On July 2nd, we did respond to a house fire at the 7500 block of Peaceful Valley Road. That was in Acme Township. The occupant and 2 pets safely evacuated the home. There was a significant fire in the garage from an antique vehicle that extended into the home, into the attic, did significant damage. Crews worked to extinguish the fire for approximately 2 hours. Main body of fire extinguished within an hour, and then spent about another additional hour doing extensive overhaul. And then, of course, the heat. It was pretty hot back there on July 2nd, so that was a consideration. So the cause does appear, it's pretty clear that it's unintentional, but the final investigation report is pending. That completes my report. I'd be happy to answer any questions. Yes?
Question on that balance class.
Yes.
Do you have to be a member of the YMCA to
No.
go to that?
No.
So
no.
anybody can come in?
Anyone can
and-
come in and attend that class. It's open to the public.
Great, thanks.
Any other questions for the chief? All right. Thanks, Paul.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Planning Department report for July 2025.
Good evening, John Syke, Planning Director. You have our report in your packet. Just want to highlight a few things. There are some items coming to your agenda for next meeting on July 22nd. There will be a couple of public hearings. One was the rezoning for the Scussel property, which is located at 306 West Hammond. So that's a rezoning from a conditional CG, general commercial, to agriculture. Also, there will be a public hearing regarding some amendments to the zoning ordinance, some text amendments. Those will be adding a definition for substantial construction and updating lighting standards. Also, most likely, the Lake Point Plan Unit development. So this is a property that's kind of behind the Value City Furniture. That's going through an amendment to the PUD to allow for a multifamily housing development there. That is under the agenda for the Planning Commission tomorrow evening for findings of fact. Most likely that will move forward with a positive recommendation to the board, so that will probably just be introduced on July 22nd. There will be a subsequent public hearing for that. And then the last thing just will most likely be in front of you to at least talk about the concept for doing a corridor study for South Airport. I've had some conversations with the Planning Commission, so I just wanted to kind of present to you that in concept at your July 22nd meeting. That's all I have. Any questions? Or?
Any questions for John? All right. Thanks, John.
Great, thank you.
All right. Parks and Rec.
It'll be in writing.
Just in your packet, okay. If you have any questions on that, just contact the Parks Department, or they'll be glad to answer them, I'm sure. Clerk's report?
The clerk's report is submitted in writing also. We had the auditors here last week. They let you know we had a clean audit last meeting. Sorry we weren't able to be here, but had a clean audit, and we're just ramping up for next year's elections and already.
All right. Thank you. And Chris, Township Manager's report.
Just a couple quick items. I met with Andrew Page, the CEO of the YMCA. Recently, he informed me that they're looking to start construction on their next phase of the Y project, which will include extending the west side of the current Y, adding basketball courts, expanding the area where their child care center is, in a commons area, kind of in the middle of the Y, when you first kind of go in, and then also a second level walking track that will be open to the basketball courts below. So that will be, I think he said, 10 laps will be a mile around it. So they're looking to start next year and then have the work done in a year, in 2027. And then they're still in the fundraising mode. So they still got a lot of money to raise. And, you know, the construction is kind of contingent on them raising a couple more $1 million. But they're pretty confident that that's going to happen, and then the construction will be next year. There's also a plan for another phase to build a field house. I think it's on the north side as you come into the right, which will include like an indoor soccer-like facility. Our lease agreement for the Y on South Airport, I believe, goes through 34. So he just wants to keep in touch with me to let me know when the needs change for them there so we can plan accordingly. So I'll stay in contact with them over the course of this, but their lease is quite lengthy still, so they still have access to do whatever they need. He said that, you know, the Y is finding it very hard to meet the needs of the community. There's just so many people who are using their facilities. He said that roughly 120 kids come from the middle school up to the Y after school every day for after-school programming, which is way more than they expected, and another reason why they're doing expansion. So it's possible, and again, we don't know until they build this and they see how it handles the needs, that they could continue running the one on South Airport or ask to be able to do that. That is a potential, and that's something that they'll obviously have to discuss with us if we want to extend that. But so he filled me in on that. I just wanted to let you know. And then also, we had a meeting, supervisor and I, with the DPW director last week about all the master meters that were installed. We had mentioned that in the past. We met with city officials, supervisor and I, DPW staff, and just want to make sure that the meters are providing accurate data, that we're all on the same page and understand what that means for future billing and monitoring our daily use. So that was a good meeting, and hopefully, now we'll have data and not have to use the peaking factor anymore. This swear word to some people, right?
We don't ever want to use that word again.
Yeah, so this will provide real-time accurate data so we can monitor our use. So that's all I have.
All right, thanks, Chris. Any questions for Chris? Okay, supervisor's report. I don't have too much covered off tonight. I just wanted to comment on the Metro budget. We had a budget meeting, and then it was presented to the full board, and very well prepared. A lot of great work went into that budget, and not a lot of questions. Additional staffing, some things coming up. So, nice job getting that report. Made that process pretty easy for us. Just an update on the Commons Water. I think we all have all our leases in place, I believe. We're just waiting for some final tweaking and get that moving forward. I see there's still construction is in full force over there on the Commons Barn project. So I believe am I correct, all our stuff is done. Maybe some tweaking needs to happen, but other than that.
There's just the easement agreement that the city is reviewing and waiting for them to respond back.
Yeah, so we're looking pretty good on that. I could have bad information, but I was told there's two things that the next county meeting could be an exciting meeting. I believe they're going to vote on maybe vote on the new structure of the BPW, whether it's 9 or 11. I believe that's coming up on the 16th. So we're hopefully going to get some movement on that, either make us 9 or make us 11 and give us the other 2 members back. That's what we're asking. So one or the other. And then if you haven't, there hasn't been a lot in the paper about it, but there's a pretty unfriendly, hostile annexation situation going on between Paradise and the Village of Kingsley. And the BP and the county board is going to be voting on that annexation on the 16th. So it might be worth going to just to watch the fireworks. So I may or may not be in town that day, so it should be kind of exciting. And then as Chris mentioned, we did have, the new meters are working. We need some calibration with Badger, the company, to get good data, but all those meters are in place, so we get good, accurate water data between us and the city. So all good stuff. So, and that's all I had. Any questions for me? All right, thank you. Okay, unfinished business, item 7A. A public hearing, consideration of resolution 2025-14-T to approve tentative Ridge View Court resurfacing special assessment roll. And Denise is abstaining from this, so who's gonna kick this one off? Go ahead, Chris.
So this is just the final phase of the special assessment process for Ridgeview Special Assessment District. And, hold the public meeting tonight to get feedback from the community, individuals who live there who may be affected. And then after the public hearing for you to decide if you're going to approve the tentative role. And in your packet, it identifies the special assessment district, the residents, and also the amount each resident would be expected to pay over the course of a 20-year term.
All right.
And I provided, looking through old files, there was some communication from residents in that area dating back to 2024. I just wanted you to have that for informational as a reminder. And then also we spoke last meeting about some people in the audience talked, and I communicated my conversation with one resident. So just wanted you to have that as well when you consider your decision.
Okay. So at this point, this is at least the second, I think the third time it's been on our agenda, so we're at the public hearing stage. So we're going to go ahead and open up the public hearing. If there's any questions you'd have or comments you'd like to make about this, please come to the microphone, state your name and address for the record, and let us know what you'd like to say.
My name's Scott Stipe, and I'm at Ridgeview Court. And so I really just wonder where the process is at. I know that it started a while ago, last spring, and I think we were at $5,400 back then, if I remember correctly. I think we're at, what, 84 or something now per resident. I'm completely for the road. I hope it goes in. The worst thing that could happen is if it doesn't happen. That being said, are we just waiting for the group to do it? At one time I thought that's what we were just waiting for Riley, or is it still an approval process? I guess I'm a little confused over that. That has to happen. Is everything still a go, or are we still kind of?
This is the last step.
Okay. I guess you just said that, so I guess I'm kind of. I just. It would seem like if we were waiting on a group to do it, it'd be really. It seemed like almost unfair if we went into 2026 and it gets maybe $10,000 to $12,000, maybe twice as much as it originally was. Again, the worst thing that happens is if we didn't do that road. I mean, I just hit potholes, I think, coming here. So I really would like to see it happen, but it does seem to be quite a process. And I don't know if it's usually a 2 or 3 year process to get roads repaved. But I hope it goes forward from my perspective, and I think that everybody's houses would really gain in value, and it'd be a great look there. And so I'm just hoping that it goes forward, but it would be a shame if it had to continue to have meetings into 2026, and I don't know, you know what I mean? So that's just my 2 cents on the whole thing. So
we've all been waiting a long time for that road.
Well, thank you.
A long time.
Yes. We've been there about 4 years.
The contractor have both made a statement that they'd like to have it done this year.
Okay, so there has been.
But they need us to have
Okay,
this public
I wasn't
hearing.
sure if it was just, okay.
Yep.
That's great. From my point of view, I hope it goes. It doesn't seem like there's a lot of opposition. However, if people do get their bills later on in life and they remember it at $5,400 when we started the process, I hope it gets, so it doesn't have to keep going up in price. That would be good too, though. So thank you for all the work into this.
Thank you. Anybody else have any comments they'd like to make? All right. I'm going to go ahead and close the public comment and actually respond to a couple of your comments. We expect it'll be done this year. Where the road commission has got it out for bid, they're ready to go. And there was just some unforeseen delays. I know it does not usually take this long. Okay. We're trying to do this project in conjunction with a water main replacement and the road, and with some issues with the water and some things with the contract with the city and something. It got delayed. So unfortunately, knock on wood, we're beyond that, and we hope it gets done. We've got a motivated member that we have to sit twice a month with. We hear about this all the time. No, I'm just kidding. I'm being nice. No, I'm just kidding. So, we're really expecting that this year it'll get completed. Oh, really? I don't know if the timeline, I don't know if they're being committal on it, but I think, and quite frankly, Elmer's, the bid from last year to this year, there was several bids, and they honored the last bid even, and didn't raise it the last time it came in. So there was a series of bids, and the last time they said, hey, we're going to honor the last bid we gave you if we get it done this year. So that fairly accurate, Chris? You've been more
Yeah,
involved
they
than I
said,
have.
here's the bid amount, and if it gets done this year, this is what you're gonna pay.
Yeah.
So that's what's reflected in the documents.
That's kind of why we've been,
Yeah.
we had these guys stepped up last month because the meeting, we were kind of shorthanded, so they had the meeting, so we didn't have to delay it more. That was, and I thank you guys for doing that, because it could have delayed it even more. We didn't want to have that happen, so. All right, thank you, so. All right. So, what's your pleasure? You have a resolution in front of you? Anybody? It's on page 46, 47 of your packet.
I think they're looking for it.
I'll make a recommendation to adopt Resolution 2025-14-TC for a tentative special assessment role for Ridgeview Court Resurfacing Special Assessment District.
I will second that motion.
Motion made and supported to approve Resolution 2025-14-T Pren C. Any further discussion on that motion? And can we have a roll on that, please?
McCumber,
Yes.
Corn,
Yes.
Gustinelli,
Yes.
Lapp,
Yes.
L. McManus,
Yes.
J. McManus.
Yes.
And it's noted that Schmuckel is abstention.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
It's rare that somebody applauds when you just raised their taxes. Charge them more money, so I appreciate that, so.
I will communicate with the road commission manager that this was approved tonight. I'll let them know tomorrow, and then also ensure that the community there is educated as to timelines and schedules and stuff like that, so they stay informed.
Can I bring one thing up I brought up to Chris about the road? He's going to call them, but he's also going to ask, this is for the residents there, if they could fix the potholes in the
Short-term
meantime. Because they're so huge now. So Chris is going to ask that and address that to the road commission. Because if it doesn't get done till August or September, we still have to deal with the potholes.
Right, okay. Some people call that traffic calming, but we call it potholes, so, all right. Okay. At this point, I'd like to see if our county commissioner did arrive. If you'd like to give your report at this time, that'd be fine.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody. I had to go to Blair Township tonight because they have their meeting at the same time. So here I am, and thanks, and I hope you all had a good 4th of July holiday. We did not have our BOC meeting or a work study group due to the holidays, but tomorrow is a work study group, and we've got a couple things on the agenda that I think are good to share with you, because overall it helps the townships, helps our county function better. We're getting to know all the different departments of the county and what their strengths are, weaknesses, what they need from us, what we need from them. Tomorrow we're going to hear from the prosecuting attorney's office, 86th District Court board presentation, 13th Circuit Court plus the Family Division probate court presentation, and Community Corrections Department report. So get to know a little bit more about what they do at a deeper level, and I think that'll help serve our county better. But the big thing tomorrow is we are going to look at the opioid settlement fund spending principles, and that have been, they've been coming up with a method of prioritization for how to spend this money. Since January, there's been three meetings through a special committee to determine how best to spend these opioid settlement funds, which are $1.8 million and additional $4 million over the next several years. But we really want to, as a county, spend this money to save lives, focus on class inequities in the county, be fair and transparent in our process, invest in our youth, and use evidence data-based decision-making and the guidelines that we use. So that's opioid. And then we also are going to be discussing marijuana funds and the proposed spending plan for that, which has also been the equivalent of 3 meetings with a special group. We have a strategy and process in place for using those funds between the county departments, area nonprofits, and similar organizations, and that was $931,000 over that actually for 2025. We're going to try to match it to our strategic plan that goes through 2029 that we're working on, so that everything aligns well and that we serve the most people. So that's kind of what's going on at the commission. That's the latest update. You heard about everything that we talked about at our last meeting because I was here to report on that. Let's see, there's one other thing I wanted to say, but I forgot. But if you have any questions, please ask.
Any questions for Fern? All right, thank you.
Oh, yeah, and I forgot to introduce myself to the people at the last place. I'm Fern Spence. I'm the County Commissioner for District 4. So, thank you.
Thank you. All right, I don't think you see anything under new business, so we'll move on to our second and final public comment. So we'll open up to the public and see if anybody has anything they'd like to come up and say. Okay, I don't see anybody running to the microphone, so we'll go. Oh,
Oh, he should.
I think they're just leaving. Okay. All right, we'll go ahead and close public comment and move on to any other business to come before the board tonight. All right, well, hearing none, stand adjourned.